First play is Justin Fields bouncing a pass, and this is something that I think he struggled a little bit more with in college. His inaccuracies. Now he can be inaccurate at times, and for me, it's more so him putting a little bit too much heat on passes that don't need to be thrown as hard. There's some times where he could just softly throw a ball in there or layer a ball in there, and he kind of puts too much heat on it, and sometimes it results in the receiver not being able to adjust to it, or maybe the ball being a little bit over the receiver's head. But in general, it's not a huge problem from Justin Fields. But we're gonna see. I believe this one is a stick concept. So you're gonna have a vertical. You're gonna have an out and an out, or just a sit right here. And then on the back side, I forget exactly what you have, but he looks to the left, doesn't see anything open on the stick, and you'll see that there's nothing open on this stick right here initially, right? Looking to the left, really not much there. Now, could he fit this ball in here? Yeah, maybe. But okay, we're not going to kill him for that, right? We got coverage, coverage, coverage. He's not going to throw that ball here. You get some immediate pressure from the inside. You get his guard or center pushed right back into his lap, so then he looks to move a little bit, which he does a good job of. You have on the bottom what is like the hawk concept vertical out right here. You have the out open. The linebacker left him to the outside, and he's open. Unfortunately, Justin Fields bounces this pass. But again, nothing open initially, right? We're not going to kill him for that. Obviously, get some push in his face. He's not just going to be able to step up into that, so he has to find another lane of escape, right? Obviously, defender going shallow, so he gets to the outside. You have the offensive player who's just drifting a little bit out to the sideline. But this is one that, it's a little bit of a miscommunication or just a lack of feel with his receiver. Now, this is his first game, but the receiver is drifting away from the coverage. So Justin Fields really just has to put it on him. Puts, way too far inside, bounces the pass. You're talking about an easy, 8-9 yards there if he doesn't put so much on that ball and just puts it on him. But overall, not a bad play in terms of escaping the pocket, getting out, finding a receiver. He just puts way too much heat on it, and it's too low instead of just putting it kind of on him, making it a little bit easier. It's not a throw that you have to whip in there or anything like that. So first play, it's a miss. Okay. Again, there's not as much of that on his film than I thought there would be, but nonetheless, field scramble, 3rd and 7. Okay, so we got a 3-by-1 here. Let's watch it. Hey, looking middle. You have a drive concept from the 2 and the 3, vertical to a dig or a basic. Sits it down, I believe, probably because of the safety right there and the coverage. You have the drag, nothing open. Fields, this is where you could really, piss off a defense when you kind of have a defense that covers this up relatively well, right? Like you're not gonna hit that dig or that sit right there. Now he could, like if he saw that linebacker carrying the drag right there, a really good quarterback might fit that ball into there, but he has some pressure too. It's a pretty hard ask. I'm not saying it's an impossible play, but relatively hard ask. Obviously now that drag route is going right to a linebacker, he's not going to throw that. There's some obvious pressure him in the pocket. Sees an escape lane, gets out of the escape lane. You're talking about 3rd and 7 where it was covered relatively well. Boom, first down, right? And that's what Justin Fields offers that we really haven't seen in quite a few years, or probably really ever with the Jets, right? Minus Geno. Now Justin Fields is a much better athlete than Geno Smith. I'm saying that's the only guy who's relatively close or even has some semblance of scrambling ability, really. Even though Zach Wilson, I guess, had some too, right? But he's obviously not Justin Fields. So good scramble by him on 3rd and 7. We have a 3rd and 12 conversion for Justin Fields. And the one thing I will say is this review does start better than it ends. The last few games, he definitely did struggle more. So as we go through the review, you're probably going to see more bad than good. So if you are on the YouTube right now and you're on the free section, I don't know what's exactly going to be free of this review, but just note it does get a little bit worse as we go on. So the one thing I will say is I don't think he was benched for just no reason. He was benched for a legitimate reason. It wasn't politics or anything like that. He was benched because the Steelers thought that Russell Wilson could be the better answer. That just is what it is. So we got 3-by-1 tight bunch to the top. Let's see conversion on 3rd and 12. Right. Okay, so we have the vertical, we have the out. So we have a sail concept here. 3-level read, 1, 2, 3. That's usually how teams read it. Deep to intermediate here. He's going to check the safety to the top. Not going to throw that. You got your number one receiver, not number one in this set, but your primary receiver in George Pickens on AJ Terrell, who's a good corner in himself. He gets outside leverage right here on the out route. Justin Fields again reads number one. Okay, it's vertical. He's not going to take that because there's a guy over the top. He sees Pickens with outside leverage on AJ Terrell, whips the ball in there. Now, the one thing we can say is like, hey, do we instead of putting this on his face, could we lead him here? And like in a perfect world, yeah, you lead him there. The only thing with leading a guy is if you do lead him sometimes, especially if the ball is not on the exact spot you want it, it could actually force this guy to come back and attack the ball a little bit, and then he's short of the sticks. So if he's past the sticks now and you put it on his face and you know that he's gonna catch that ball and you have enough whip in there to get it in there before AJ Terrell can close ground, then I'm okay with it because yes, leading him in general is a good thing. But if you think leading him is going to make him attack the ball, and potentially lose the yardage, then that's fine. So I'm okay with him putting on his face here. Now, did he mean to do that? I don't know. I'm just giving some examples of like, hey, sometimes when you do put it a little bit more out there, he can actually come back to the ball and know he's not past the sticks. Where in this situation, again, read that vertical, come back to Pickens, right? One, two, three, five, hitch, step up. Now the thing with him is his release is longer. It's more because like his base generates a lot of force, and this isn't the best footwork here, right? In terms of his where his feet are pointed, that front foot's a little bit closed off, so it's more of an arm throw. And that could be why the ball's a little bit more inside. Nonetheless, puts it on his face. You have a first down conversion from Justin Fields, right there. Find Pickens deep. Okay, I believe Pickens is at the top on this one right here. Sprint out to the left. I don't necessarily love the fact this offense. Okay, if he's sprinting out to the left, I don't love that one of the options is going to be a corner route on the backside. It's a really hard throw to make, so I'd rather have this come across the middle, intermediate or something like that. But you have and he still makes the throw, but you have the corner route and then the out route right here. They're both covered up, right? Nothing's open. This deep corner isn't open. The out's not open. Okay. So Justin Fields sprints out, sees it's not open, resets his feet, flips his hips to Pickens, reads him quickly. And when he's reading him, what is he seeing when he decides to throw this ball? He knows Pickens is going to run that corner route. He's going to run that corner route, that sail route. He sees DB over the top with his hips flipped to the inside. Who's going to win to the outside right here? Pickens is. Field sees that, puts the ball on him. It's a far throw. You're talking about opposite hash. Opposite hash, 15. About 40 yards vertically, but then also the horizontal distance. It's not an easy throw to make, and he puts it on him on the money. So it's good accuracy, but a good job reading that quickly, seeing that nothing's open, getting his eyes to Pickens, checking that safety, seeing the safety's hips flipped. Who's going to win to the outside? Pickens is. He finds that. Fields take a sack on 3rd and 4. This was something that was very evident in his game was the taking sacks that are completely unnecessary. Now there were some instances where like, hey, his offensive line wasn't great. I don't think the concepts were great. I don't think Arthur Smith is overly creative. I don't think his receivers were great. George Pickens has some talent. Obviously, he's a good receiver, but quite lazy at times and more of a contested catch guy. Calvin Austin was pretty solid, or at least decent, but past that, he really didn't have a ton of options. I guess Fryermuth is actually a decent tight end too, but I'm not going to say he was working with a star-studded offense. And the offensive line left a little bit to be desired, at least in pass protection to me. So not like I was staring at them every play, but there's quite a few pressures on him. So some of it being on the offensive line, the offensive play calling, but some of it definitely being on him. So we got a 2x2 here. 2x2. Okay. Situations where we got to get the ball out, right? Looks like he reads the left quickly. Gets back to the right. There's two instances where he could throw this ball, and you're going to have to make tight window throws in the NFL level. Here, okay, I understand not wanting to throw this ball. Now, could he put this ball outside shoulder and maybe get there? Possibly. It's a little bit hard when he's more shallow because he can really undercut that ball. So it's going to have to be really on the money, and you have to be confident your arm to get in there. So I'm okay with him not necessarily throwing that. Once he gets his eyes here, you got to throw this ball. Right? Like this one, okay, I understand it while it's happening. Not saying it's an impossible throw. Once he gets his eyes off of that and he's seeing outside leverage, 2 yards of distance right here, you got to put this on Fryermuth to the outside shoulder, right? Try to fit that ball in there, and he can if he's proper in his timing and all that stuff. He doesn't. He ends up taking a sack on a situation that probably should have been a first down, right? Read the middle safety. Read Pickens. Doesn't want it. Gets his eyes to Fryermuth. This is a window you hit in the NFL, right? Look when he gets his eyes to Fryermuth, gets his eyes there, you hit this in 3rd and 4. Got to get there. He doesn't, takes a sack. Fields deep to Pickens drop. Okay, we got Pickens to the top right here. Let's see. A lot of under center, a lot of play action, which is going to be, or at least predictively, we think that's going to be what the Jets do a lot of too. A lot of play action, a lot of and you want to get Justin Fields on the move. You want to cut off half the field. Bootlegs, naked, sprint outs, some dart protection, which is going to be your tackle actually inviting and people will think, oh, he lost the rep, but it's actually your tackle oversetting on purpose. This defensive end will crash to the inside, and then Fields will scramble out to the right, almost like a sprint out. But it's a design. It's called dart protection. So I'm sure you'll see some of that with the Jets, but you do want to get him on the move. You're going to see him under center. You're going to see him play action. Now the play action fakes he carries out are not great, right? Like who is this faking out? You're talking about him pulling the ball, about a yard away. So the play action fakes have to be carried out better by Justin Fields. That could be a thing where he isn't confident in his ability to read a defense, and he wants to get his eyes back to the defense quicker, or he doesn't trust his protection. It could be multiple things, but you got another sail type concept here where you have the intermediate, the shallow, and the deep. When he does this play action, what is he seeing with Pickens? He's seeing him in this soft spot in the zone between the curl to flat and deep half. Looks like it's going to be let's see. Looks like it's a 2. A little bit different with the safety over here, but it could have been like a 2 with a robber in the middle or something like that. But nonetheless, roll out, see that Pickens is open, reset your feet, little pop step off that front foot to keep balance. And if you watch Pickens, the thing about it is he looks like he overthrows him a little bit, but watch Pickens kind of stop running his route. See, he was just jogging, and I get it, the sideline's there, but Fields expects him to continue the route a little bit more. Again, flip those hips. We got hook and replace step, right? Let's say 1, hook, replace it, disassociation from the hip, throw, tight arm, the arm dropping like that, but nonetheless, he gets the ball there. And listen, would you rather have it on his face? Yes. Is this a throw that Pickens can probably get 2 hands up for? Yes. Is this a throw that if Pickens continued his route with a little bit more oomph to the sideline, which I get, again, not wanting to run out of bounds too quickly, but if he kind of tracks it better here, it's a completion. So I would put that, 25% on Fields, want a little bit better location, but I put more of that on Pickens for, stopping the route, jogging, and then not necessarily tracking it the best. And in my opinion, not getting 2 hands up where you could get 1 up, or not getting 2 hands up. Yeah, when you could have, basically. Which, by the way, the little insight, that was one of my problems in high school. I was a receiver and a running back, and I tried to catch balls one-handed too much, and it was a problem because I dropped more than I caught. I'm trying to do it one-handed, but nonetheless, Fields deep throw away from leverage. Okay, I think this is Pickens to the top right here. If this ball goes in, I think you have Terrell, who's a little bit more outside leverage, and Fields puts it to the inside shoulder, which is a good idea, letting Pickens make a play on the ball. Okay, so we have him dropping back. He's reading the middle of the field. Middle of the field, he may even be just reading this concept. Both of these guys aren't open for really anything. You have a deeper route, but you have a safety over the top, and this guy getting some depth. So I get coming off of that pretty quickly. Now is just a throw that if he were to look to the flat and hit this over the top, is it possible? Yeah, but he comes off of it relatively quickly. You have a situation where you have your number 1 receiver, your primary guy, and on one-on-one situation, throw it to him. You could. I'm not saying always force the ball to your number 1 receiver, but you can at times, especially when you see one-on-one coverage pre-snap. Sorry for rewinding it there, but it's a really good location from Fields in terms of leading his receiver and allowing him to make a play on this ball. Because if he were to put this vertical and outside, guess who could be there? Terrell. But because he puts it inside shoulder and lets him attack the ball, takes him away from Terrell there. So it's a really good deep ball from him. And just reading the leverage, where is the leverage of Terrell? Again, outside shoulder. Put that baby inside. Let Pickens attack it. He does. Nice catch by Pickens, corralling that ball. And a good throw by Fields. For sure. He is a I would say his deep ball is above average. It's a pretty good deep ball. So that's one part of his game that's definitely good. Fields 7 yard counter, 3rd and 5. Okay, so we have a QB counter here on 3rd and 5. Obviously, trusting him quite a bit there on 3rd and 5 to pick this up, especially with a relatively stacked box. There's obviously it's condensed. There's a lot of guys here. They trust him to read this correctly, and he does. You're talking about contact balance and stuff. This is a quarterback. He follows his blocks well, not overzealous. Knows 74 is gonna kick out. He should be inside shoulder. He does. Follows that. 83, Hayward gets some good positioning, squeezes through them. 2 hands on the ball as he comes into contact, lowers his shoulder, drives his feet, breaks an arm tackle, breaks another, semi-arm tackle, lowers his shoulder, picks up extra yardage. How they it's a really good running play. Like that's even good for solid for a running back, breaking 2 arm tackles and things like that. It's a good play by Fields. Really not too much there, but obviously worth noting, right? 3rd and 5, some of the things you could do with Fields because of his running ability. Field scramble, hit Pickens, question mark. Okay. Yeah, this is one where again a good quarterback isn't going to be forced to run this ball because he does drops back. Now I don't know if pre-snap he just knows that hey, I don't know if it was Zero Gregory. I'm not sure who Zero is on the Broncos, but based on the protection, does he know? Okay, Broncos are a heavy blitzing team. We got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 5. We're sliding to the left, so I'm going to gain depth to get away from the pressure that he knows is probably there pre-snap. Or you're assuming he knows it pre-snap, and that's why he's kind of drifting and never really hitches. This is a throw though that again, if you're just reading Pickens, this is a ball you want to come out.